Dungeons Overview and Minotaur. In these upcoming videos, I will cover each of the dungeons, what they are, what they give as rewards, and how to defeat the bosses. I will start by addressing that I will mainly cover the Minotaur in this video. The potion keeps will be in the next video. I will then work through the main first 4 gear dungeons that you start with early in the game. I will then come back to explain their hard modes, Sand Devil, Phantom Shogun, and Iron Twins later, due to them being unlocked later in the game and generally not touched by players until their account has reached a decent level of progression. I would also like to mention the event dungeon, which is below the ice golem on the map, and as of recording is currently the Queen of Hearts. This dungeon returned during the Alice in Wonderland event in-game. It was a limited time dungeon which was active throughout the event, and the boss was specific to the event and provided a select amount of gear sets and also the pinpoint set. It is the second time that this dungeon has been used for big events and is likely to be used again in the future. Moving on to the Minotaur. This is where you come to farm mastery scrolls for your champions, increasing the rarity and amount of scrolls gained each run based on the level you clear. As previously stated, it is important to remember that scrolls can only be collected by champions that have not already collected them all. So running this with a full team of completed champions is very wasteful of time and resources, as the silver and amount of XP is not as good as other locations. As your account progresses, you will likely end up wanting to move towards having one strong champion that can run all other champions you wish to gain scrolls on through the dungeon. This will improve the efficiency overall. Or, if you only have one champion you wish to gain scrolls on and you are in a hurry to do this and do not wish to wait until you have 3 more to go alongside, it is still more cost effective to run Minotaur at stage 15 if you can do this to gain their masteries. This is because over time it has been calculated that on average it takes around 2,150 energy to gain all scrolls on a champion, which depending on your energy levels equates to around 680 gems spent on energy, as opposed to spending 800 to unlock all of the scrolls. It is also important to note that even if you have most of the masteries unlocked on a champion, to buy the rest of the scrolls will still always cost 800 gems. Moving into the dungeon itself. You will start with 2 waves of champions to clear through, as normal. Once you clear the waves and reach the boss, you will have 2 minions which themselves can do some decent damage but aren't too difficult to clear quickly. The boss will start the encounter with a 3-turn buff that is protected so it cannot be interfered with in any manner. This buff is called Raging Bull and it increases the damage the boss deals by 400%. When the buff then expires, he will receive a dazed debuff for 1 turn, which then increases the damage he receives by 200%, and then returns to the Raging Bull buff after. The first ability he will cast is Swift Doom, which is an AoE skill which hits all enemies and places hex on 3 random enemies which cannot be resisted. These can, however, be removed. These hexes then merge in with his auto attack skill, which is a basic AoE hit but deals double damage to enemies under hex. It is important to remember this will also tie in with his passive damage increase buff, so you can easily get caught out by getting hit with all of these increased damage effects. Generally, this dungeon becomes easily overpowered over time due to power increase, since the 15 stages available are still the original 15 that first came out, so an ever increasing amount of available power means it's easier to brute force your way through this dungeon, as you are now seeing. However, if you are an early account and wish to try to outplay the mechanics, you will want to make sure you can cleanse off the hex debuffs when he places them. You will also want to try and maintain a decrease attack debuff on him. This decrease attack works by reducing the base attack stat. Therefore, any increases he gains from his abilities will scale from this reduced base. Some form of healing if the fight takes longer would also be helpful. Usually, Lifesteal set will work, or bringing a champion that provides either a leech debuff or heals with their abilities. Other than those, all you will want is debuffs to help kill it faster, such as decrease defense and weaken.